Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction to My Hero Academia. It is Season 4, Episode 4. And as always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace a parenthesis dot parts with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, that was an interesting episode. I mean, there happened quite a lot, and there's like a looming darkness in the future, the possible death of All Might, which, admittedly, is not so much of a surprise. I mean, if you think about it, how he always acted, how he is as a character, in very many ways similar to Midorya, he's always jumping in without thinking. He wants to save people, he wants to protect people. And that clearly does not change with the loss of his muscle form, with the loss of One for All, right? He still wants to defend people. So if there will be a situation, if there will be a villain capturing people or whatever, right? And he sees a chance that his appearance might help, even without power, right? There is a good chance he will do it because he wants to save people. That is what always pushed him forward. And in the past, he was strong enough to withstand what's happening then. Was strong enough to survive the villains, even to beat them. But now being just a normal person without special powers, that is a danger he is likely to die in. So I can see that. He's not running around as a pro hero anymore, sure, just a teacher. But we've seen in the past that for the students and for the school, there are very often attacks. Sure, they were aimed at him, but why should anyone stop yet, right? He still is a symbol of peace. He may have lost his power, but if someone would take him out, it would still shock the world. So it's clear that there will still be some after him. There will still be people after innocent lives, and he will step in. Always. That's how he is. He is the number one hero, even without a quirk. So, I'm not really surprised that this danger of him dying is looming there somewhere. Um, that's the one thing. I do understand that Midoriya wants him to be around possibly endlessly. I mean, he's a fanboy, and All for One is the sorry, One for All is the symbolistic power of the good, right? And All Might is the one that stood for it, was a shining beacon and still is. So losing him is something Midoriya clearly does not want. I can see that, and he wants him to be around. He's kind of like a foster dad to him. So I can see that in kind of every way. This promise to twist fate together is, I like it, right? It is this let's try. The idea of having Sir Night Eye watch again, I don't know, man. Sure, if he would, you would have a more specific information. And thus, Sir Night Eye is using this ability. I guess you can avoid what's happening there by avoiding circumstances. So cool. But then, would you really want to know? The big question was stuff like foresight, like fortune telling, like visions of the future. Do you really want to know, or do you really, or just want to live a normal life? And when it's happening, it's happening. I don't know, man. We'll see what they are going for. Now to the other stuff. So we met Eri and we met Overhaul. Um, is she his daughter? I don't know, man. At the moment, okay, he says so. Why not? He clearly is afraid of him, and if you see how he is acting, that's not much of a surprise, right? He just killed one of his men there, just by walking by. So he is really evil and a negative character, and I can understand that a young girl like her is afraid of him. She has strength of herself, no question. If you see the fact that she followed him to save Midoriya and Togata as well, I guess. That is, you need some strength. Because she was clearly afraid. She didn't want to go with him, but it was this moment of, if I don't go, he will kill them. So she did. She realized that. I have to give it to Togata that he realized that as well. He has seen this little movement, on the gloves that was an intent to kill. And we know that from the other episodes in the past that he is taking off the gloves. Which, by the way, is now, just saying again, this glove moment. Eri was afraid due to the glove of Midorya because they are white gloves just as overhauls. But we have seen this moment of gloves coming towards you as well from I always want to say Toga, which is wrong. It's not Toga, sorry. I'm always struggling with his name, but that's why I have a list. I just check. You know who I mean. Nope. There we have the teleporter. Tomura. Sorry. So Tomura has these gloves all over as well. So what is it with hands and gloves? Is there something special? Did I miss something? Why is it so important that there are gloves? We know that All for One did wear gloves, sure. But it's not really clear to me. However, it's a repeating pattern. Now, they got out of this situation. It's possibly not the best version because Overhaul took Eri again and took her back to his fortress, which out of a hero's view is a bad thing, right? Because she clearly wanted to be saved. She was clearly afraid of him, so there was a question in the air of being abused, mentally at least, right? We've seen that there's some weird chair, which looks like a medical device where she's possibly put into. And we have heard that these robbers were cured of every disease. So, as I said, I guess she is kind of like the opposite of Overhaul. So he is bringing disease and she is able to cure people, but possibly it will injure her own body, which is why she has bandages. But that's just a speculation. And he keeps her around because he, on the one hand, maybe hopes for a permanent cure for his disease, and possibly kind of needs her to stay alive, because we've seen he got a bit of a disease already once he killed this one guy and was outside before. So he will possibly need her like an antidote again and again. So he's using her to survive. But as I said, that's just a guess. We learned a little bit more about Togata. So he has a hero name, the Million, and I mean, he even has it on his chest, right? Okay, his outfit is special, but then he is as well, so why not? It looks okay, with the mask and the visa and everything. And there was this interesting situation where he tried to play Overhaul by acting as though they're very inexperienced, just, we are just students walking by, stuff like that. And this short moment of opposite opinions between him and Deku. But there was a reason for it, and I don't blame Togata here. I think he's a hero as well. If Eri would have clung to him instead of Deku, he would possibly acted the same way. It was about, yes, we don't want to cause any problem. We don't want to get Overhaul aware of the fact that he's being watched. So we better move along. But then there is someone needing help, and you are a hero, you have to help. So they were catched there. They got out of it, as I said, not the best option how it was done. And then we get finally to Sir Night-Eye. So, I do understand his motives to split from All Might, because he was a fanboy and he did not want him to die. So he tried to put pressure on him by saying, if you do go on, I will split. Which did not work out. On the one hand, he, having the foresight, he knew it was a decision that led to death. But what he did not see, or at least did not get appreciated as much, and that's a bit surprising, is that All Might cannot change. I mean, he is the hero. He has to save people. We discussed it in the beginning, so for sure, All Might would have said, I will continue. And it's, at this moment, 6 years from now. 6 years of peace. 6 years of safety for the people. That is worth a death. I'm sorry, as a pro hero, possibly that's something that was in the lines. And during this time, you can still get a successor. Well, it took a little bit too much time, I agree there. He should have started way earlier. But it happens as it happens. That's one side. The other is this clear difference between those two characters. So, All Might jumping in, very often without thinking, believing in his powers, believing in what is right and that it needs to be done, right? Night-Eye, on the other hand, is do not jump in instantly. First, get intel, gather information, think about, don't waste. Haste is waste, he said. Nice sentence. So he is very calculating, put back, which makes sense with a quirk like this, right? He has no fighting quirk directly, although we've seen he might be good at that. He has an analytic quirk, so he is Mr. Intel, the background office kind of, and that's what the position between All Might and him were as well. All Might was the face in the front, and Sir Night-Eye was the one getting intel, preparing what's about to happen. And seeing that he possibly during those 5 years checked on All Might like all the time, or maybe on the enemies. It sounded like he shouldn't on All Might there. That gave a benefit, that gave a clear edge to everything All Might did. So I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Sure, you should not jump in without thinking, but if you analyze and wait too much, then nothing will happen, right? I mean, it is this. You can just take the situation with Eri for it. She needs help. She has to get out of there, and she is afraid. How long do you want to gather intel? How long do you want to analyze before you do something? It's like with every war in the world where people are asking for help. How long do you wait until you step in? Is there really like it too soon? Sure, it's dangerous, but it is, the human decision that we're talking about, or here it is a hero decision. Shouldn't a hero do it actively, instantly? How long waiting is too long waiting? I think that's the question here, and sure, it's cool. I think it is a good thing that Midorya has to learn to wait sometimes and to analyze, because he was always the one jumping in. That was always criticized about him from the teachers and the media and everyone. So it's good that he's learning that. But even as good is that he's really realizing that's somehow weird to me. So he has to find his own time, his own timing. And once he found that, that's perfect. So that's what we're waiting for. That's it from me this time. I hope you enjoyed. I did for sure. And I will see you in the next episode. Until then, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.